Good morning. Hello. All right. So let's see if my system is better now. I had an upgrade to my internet. So how are you? Let's see who's here. Hi, Kathy. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning, Stevie. Good morning. Yes, it is amazing, right? Our day is pretty amazing. I'm Carolyn. Good morning. Nancy, good morning. So many of my regular Wednesday people are here. Well, Lynn and Kathy and Nancy. And then Stevie was Tuesday, Thursday. I can't remember. It's been so long. All right, perfect. Yoga for wellness. Doesn't that sound perfect? I think so. All right, so if there's anything you'd like to share with me, please do so. Otherwise, I do have some things I'd like to focus on today, but if somebody has something they'd like to work on, I could sprinkle that in too. So if you'd like to let me know about that, go ahead and let me know. And yes, so let's get going. All right. Let's get ready to take care of our body, take care of our mind. I'd like to share with you that there's three main stress pathways in our body. There's three aspects to stress. We hear the word stress, and I'd like to say that there's three main pathways. One of them is musculoskeletal. So that's either in the joints or the muscles, the bones, the soft tissue. So that's this physical part of us that we could see and touch. Then there's the biochemical physiological. So that would be all of the systems of the body, metabolism, digestion, respiration, circulatory system, nervous system, all of that would be next. And then the last one is mental emotional. So when we practice yoga, we're actually affecting all of those aspects of stress in the body. And when we speak about wellness, we are bringing in wellness in all of those layers. The stress response is really managed with the breath work, the meditation, and then that somatic grounding of the present moment and staying right here, right now. That's also a part of what is experienced when we practice yoga. So today, the Yoga for Wellness practice, really keeping yourself here is very important. The more you can stay in the practice when you're practicing, the more you can have an effect on those areas of stress, the physical, the physiological, and the mental layers of your body. So for today's practice, I'd like you to have a block. I'd like you to have a strap and a blanket. And I'd also like to say that whatever you do when you're on the mat is perfect. And the most advanced part of the practice is to be in the moment, is to focus on this present moment, whether that's focusing on breath or focusing on the mental aspects of the practice. It's not about how limber are you, how long can you stay up in something, how deeply can you stretch a body part. It's not about that when it comes to being advanced in the practice of yoga. It's how can I treat this as an ultimate act of self-care and self-love for as many moments as possible when I'm here. So when we get to do the stronger part of the practice and you are in something, you stay into where it's appropriate for you. And if you can't do something, soften up the attachment to feeling like you have to do things. So I am very cognizant of that when I teach. When I'm with people, I see whose knees don't bend or what things they can't do. I also can tell how they're feeling or can notice the feelings of not being able to do something. So I'd like you to come today to this practice with complete and utter acceptance of where you are, doing your best and leaving the rest. That's what my teacher in India says. And that's very liberating for me when I think of that. So just come to a seated position, whatever that means for you. Of course, I try to get people to bend their knees, and I'm happy to report that recently someone just told me that originally she could not bend her knees. And then with practice, slowly but surely, she actually can sit in this position. Now that won't be the case for everyone because some knees never will bend. There might be too much going on in their knees, and that's okay. So just accepting wherever you are. So come to the seated position, any position, it could be crisscross legs. I need to turn on my clock so I know where we're at in terms of time. Notice that's not on. I really do love I love being so relaxed, being at home and really not caring if things aren't perfect. So taking a break to go turn on my clock because I forgot to turn on earlier. Like, I just love that. I'm sure that some of you are actually in your pajamas. I'm not. All right. So come into wherever you are. Let's arrive to this moment, to this practice, setting an intention that we are going to be in each moment as it is. And if the moments get more challenging, so if you're in something that's a little more demanding, you're going to go to whatever is the appropriate place for you in your body, knowing that anything you do is perfect. And everything we do is healing. We want the intention for the practice to be healing. So notice your breath, allow yourself to arrive to this moment, closing your eyes. Let your hands gently rest wherever they do. And bring your awareness to yourself, to your body. Notice the energy or the emotions of your body right now. Notice if there's any areas of sensation. What would you say is the energetic level of your body? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling good? If you have a specific area that bothers you, go to that area with your mind. Bring a couple of breaths there. Direct the breath to an area of need in your body or in your mind, and allow the exhalation to soften the lines around whatever it is you have going on. So if it's a place of pain, let it soften and disperse. And if it's in the mind, let the mind expand. Visualizing that if we had a cup of water and we had a dropper full of black dye, if we drop a drop of black dye in the water, we see the drop at first and then it dissolves. I'd like you to do that now with either mental energy. If you have stress in your life, something that's really weighing heavy on you, I'd like you to see it like a dropper full of black dye. And as you put a drop, let your mental energy disperse like that. Or if for you, you have issues in your body, let that area that you have the issue expand and dissolve. Using your exhales to release, to soften, to let go. And then we're going to bring ourselves onto our backs. So try to keep yourself in a mellow place. The eyes could stay closed if you'd like. Have a blanket up at the top of your mat. You're going to come down onto the ground so that your head is supported by the blanket. Let your upper body be free. Come with your knees bent at first and let your hands rest on your tummy. You connecting to you. Feel the feet on the floor. Feel the sacrum, base of the spine that's embedded in your pelvis. Feel that support right now. Feel the shoulder blade area or the area behind the heart. And feel the center of your head. Feel supported by the ground, supported by the blanket. So allowing the muscles to soften, the bones, the heaviness of the bones to be moving towards the earth. Let your mouth soften, your jaw soften. Feel the facial muscles falling towards the floor. So really soften the cheeks. Let your eyes sit nice and deep in the sockets. Let them go soft. And feel the heaviness of the head as you let go of holding it up all day. For those of you that may have challenges with sleep, it's important to implement rest and relaxation into our lives throughout the day so that the body knows how to slow down. And if the only time you come to a lying down position is at night when it's time to sleep, it's not easy for all of the substances in our body to just stop or slow down. So practicing relaxation can be a great way to help support sleep. And we know that sleep is so restorative, it's detoxifying, it's a major part of health. And some functional medicine physicians will even say you cannot be healthy if you're not sleeping. So sleep is a big focal point for many these days. So bringing your awareness to your body, let everything be heavy, let it turn off, let it learn how to relax and release and let go. Having the knees bent at first allows the back of the spine to soften and to know that the coast is clear. Then I'd like you to slowly lengthen one leg out at a time, closing the eyes, staying inside the body to feel what is appropriate for you. Notice if tension comes in the body when you do this, because now we bring into this the pelvic area and the hip flexors and the legs. And one of the hip flexors is attached to your low back. So notice when you go to straight legs, how does your low back feel? Taking the legs a little wider is a little more relaxing. And then allowing the pinky toes to flop towards the floor is more relaxing for the low back and the hips. So learning how to set yourself up for success. Feel the connection points here. If your legs are straight, feel your heels in the floor, feel your calves. Push your heels into the floor and notice how you feel that all the way up towards your low back. And then go to soft. Again, press the heels into the floor. Feel that action come all the way up the back of the legs to the sacral area and then translating into the lower spine. And then when you soften, really soften, like an ice cube on a hot pavement, let it melt. Let's bring your left hand up to your heart. Keep your right hand on your tummy. So bring your awareness to the left hand on the heart. Breathe there. So you actually feel the chest expand and contract. And then bring your awareness down to the hand on the tummy. Breathe there. And the space between the hands, the low ribs, breathe there. Kind of a little bit above the lower ribs. So we're going to work with breath, and this helps connect the mind and the body. So connecting the physical, or what we see and can touch of ourselves, to the parts of us we cannot see and cannot touch, the subtle parts of us, our emotional and mental layers. We're going to fill the lungs up from the bottom to the top. And when we slow down the breath, and when we fully oxygenate our body and our lungs, we're actually having an effect on our physical body, on the muscles of respiration, of the settling of the joints of the spine, soft tissues, allowing hydration to come back into the spine, so all the fluids that were compressed out from standing and sitting. And the physiology and biochemistry is shifted when we focus on our breath. So we are taking care of all of the layers of ourselves. I'm going to guide you through the places to focus your attention. Let your eyeballs, your inner eyeballs, go there. So it's almost like you could see it with your eyes, feel it with your body, and notice it with your noticing. So let's prepare. Let's take a big exhale. Inhale to your belly. And exhale from your belly. Getting everything nice and warm. We're going to begin all the lobes, breathing into all the lobes of the lungs. So let's prepare. Exhale. And then begin. Inhale to your belly, to your lower ribs, to your chest. Exhale from your belly, your ribs, your chest. Inhale to the belly, the ribs, chest. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. Inhale, belly, 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 ribs, chest. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. Continue on your own, bringing your awareness to these sections, and try to slow down the breath as much as you can. Stay with your breath. And finishing this breath that you're on, take 3 more deep, long, slow breaths. When you finish your last breath, let the breath go. Bring your hands back down to your belly. Bring your awareness back into your body, especially if you have an area that usually is bothersome for you. Bring your awareness there. Noticing what you notice. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let's take the legs so that they're straight off the body. Bring the arms all the way out to the side, like the shape of the letter T. Press your arms to the floor. Press the shoulder blades to the floor. Point your toes. If you're able to, slide your hands on the floor and bend your elbows. As long as your hands stay on the floor, if they want to come off, stop at that point. Using the floor and gravity to help do a little postural correction. And then separate the feet so that they're about 2 feet apart. Let's point the feet and flex. Go really strong here. So when you point, you're trying to touch the floor with your toes. When you flex, you're sliding your heels on the floor. Center of the heels are moving directly away from you. Feel that stretch coming into the back of the calf area. Point and flex. Point and flex. Let's take your feet. Let's inhale, open your feet so that the pinky toes come closer to the floor. Keep going and keep pushing, trying to get the pinky toes to touch the floor. And then exhale, bring your toes towards center. Try to touch the big toes to the floor. So go slow here. You're stretching your hip joint. Inhale to open, try to get the pinky toes to touch the floor. You'll probably feel this all the way up in your hips, at the back of the hips, right where the buttocks are and the side of the body is close to touching the floor. And then bring your toes towards each other as you exhale, trying to touch the floor. Inhale to open. Exhale, point the toes, or bring the toes in, try to touch the floor. Inhale. Exhale. And then let's go ahead and bend the knees. Arms stay in this position if they can. Walk your feet a little bit wide so that they're wider than your body. At first, I'd like you to move your knees a little bit side to side. Keep the soles of the feet on the floor. Close the eyes. The stretch in the hips comes a little higher now. Hip flexors are involved, and you may start to feel muscles in the front of the hip bones and maybe even into the waist. Make sure the soles of the feet are still on the floor though, and the tushy cheeks stay on the floor. So you're not coming into rotation and you're not bringing this into the lower back yet. Then bring the legs back up to center. Toes are pointing forward. Inhale, open your legs to the side. Let the feet roll onto the pinky toe edge. Exhale, back up. So the feet are a little bit wider than the body here, so it's a little safe to come into this adductor stretch with the feet a little wide. See if you could feel that. We're at the top of the thigh doing a lot of work, softening and opening up the muscles right where the legs attach to the body. Nice, gentle inhale to open. Exhale to close. Keep your eyes closed. You're exploring creating more space in your body and releasing tension. Let's bring yourself back to center. Walk your feet so your feet are about 4 inches apart. Or maybe the big toes are actually 2 inches apart. Soles of the feet are on the floor, toes are pointing forward. Inhale slowly, let the knees open. They're going to go farther now. You're going to be a deeper stretch in your inner thighs. Exhale to bring your legs up to about 3/4 of the way closed. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. This next time you open, I'd like you to try to gently push the low back into the floor. So a little posterior tilt of the pelvis as you open your thighs. You may feel a little bit of a deeper stretch when you do that. Inhale, open. Exhale. One more. You're going to inhale to open. Bring your inner thighs about halfway up. And then I want you to do little pulses here. So you don't completely release. You stay in the muscular tension place. Push your low back towards the floor or the top edge of your pelvis towards the floor. And then bring yourself back all the way up to center. Let's take the feet wide so they're all the way either off the mat or heels are on and toes are off. Now we're going to go a little deeper. So there's going to be rotation in the spine. Pelvis is going to lift off the floor. So make sure that feels okay for you. Let's inhale over to the side slowly. You're going to feel a deeper stretch. The stretch is going to come up higher towards the low rib area and down the leg towards the knee. Exhale, zipper up your midsection like you're putting on a tight pair of jeans to protect your low back. And then inhale, let your knees go in the opposite direction. Go really slow here. Feel what you feel in your body. This is a way to explore bringing in more mobility into your body and doing it safely. So you're not trying to push your legs towards the floor. You're trying to allow your legs to fall towards the side. Feel the lengthening of the muscles as that happens. The next time your legs come over to the right, let them stay there. Let them soften. Take the left hand off the floor. Keep the right hand on the floor. The right leg is either touching the floor or towards touching the floor. And then flex that left hand. Reach that left hand away from you and lengthen your left side body so that you're trying to push your knee away from you to keep your left knee as far away from your left fingertips as possible. Spread your fingers. Feel a stretch in your hand, your wrist, your arm, your armpit, along the side of your body, front of your hip or leg or low back, any of those places or all of those places. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring yourself, zipper your midsection to bring yourself back up. Let's go to the other side slowly. Allow the legs to come over to the left. Once they arrive, soften. Reach the right hand off. Reach that right leg away, that right hand, flex the wrist. Reach, reach, reach. Push your heart up towards the sky. That does a little extension in the spine, the upper spine, and it might bring in even other areas of stretching for you. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. let's take the legs into the chest. So hold on to the kneecaps. Holding on to the kneecaps, your hands come from up above to the kneecaps. So you're not reaching around, you're coming from up above onto the kneecaps. So go ahead, take hold of your kneecaps. Your arms are straight, and then I want you to let go of your hip flexors. So the muscles right here that attach, that are contracting to hold this leg, let your hand do all the work. So that if you were to let go, your foot would fall away from you. So really do a little jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. I like to jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And then actually let's do a little bit of this, like it's the legs are like pistons, but your hands are actually moving them. And then take your hands, let's do circles. Let your knees go away from you. Let them spread apart. Let them come towards the armpits. Let them go together. Away from you, apart, armpits together. Away from you, apart, armpits together. And the circular pattern, turn it into a circle. So your leg bone, you're holding onto the top of your leg bone, your upper leg bone, right where your knee is. And you're moving that leg around in the socket of the hip joint. And feel the stretch wherever you feel it. This is very therapeutic for joint health, for hip joint, for knees, for the low back. When we can bring space into a joint, it helps to release tension. Let's go in the other direction. Bring your knees towards you, apart, away, and together. And see what you can notice in your body when you do this. And then go ahead, keep your legs straight here. Bring your knees into your chest. Take your hands and shake your hands. So if you are holding onto your knees with your hands, the wrists definitely get a workout there. So keeping your knees into your legs, or you may need to spread them a little bit more. Okay, hold on to top of your knees. I want to warm up the low back here. You're going to inhale, arms are straight. And as you exhale, draw the knees straight in towards your tummy so that the top thighs press into your belly. Inhale straight. Exhale. Close your eyes here. See what you can notice. Feel how the lower spine goes away from the floor when the arms are straight and legs are away, and how the low back presses into the floor when the knees come towards your chest. And then one more. Stay here with your knees. Let's take the arms out to the side. Shoulder blades are on the floor. And then allow the knees to go over to the left. You want to keep your shoulder blades on the floor. So for some of you, you may need to have a block underneath your legs so that the right shoulder blade stays on the floor because the legs are to the left. Or for some of you, you may feel more comfortable having the block between your knees. And some of you may not need a block. So get whatever you need for you to keep that right shoulder blade touching the floor or moving towards the floor. And then you could hold on to that right knee with the left hand and then allow the head to roll to the right. Deep breaths here down to the belly. Take one more breath. In order to come out of a twist, be really careful here. So bring one knee up towards your face and towards center, and allow the other knee to come up towards your face and towards center.
Take your feet into the floor, push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up just in case anything got moved in the body. Hands are alongside your body. Bring your knees up one at a time, pretty high. And then you're gonna let them go over to the right. Using the block if you need. Keep the left shoulder blades on the floor. That's why you may need to use a block. You could take your right hand on top of that left leg. Noticing what you notice on the side. Close your eyes, go inside, deep breaths. Take one more breath. To come out of the twist, I'd like you to bring the left knee up first, then the right knee, and then go ahead and put your legs down on the floor. So that was twist, and one of the ways to relieve a twist is to come into a extension position, a back bend. So let's do a bridge series here to release tension. Take your blanket away from the back of your head, lengthen the back of your head so you feel the center of your head closer to your neck. Center, but closer to the neck. So you may have to lift your head up, tucking your chin towards your chest. And for some of you, that may be a challenge because you may have a lot of tightness and stickiness in the neck from looking forward all the time. And so I'd like you to have nothing behind your head because we're going to come up with our lower body. So really try to bring yourself into this nice long back neck. Arms are down alongside your body. Lift your feet off the floor. Keep them relatively, so that when you do this, you're actually not going to have them too close to your body because it's going to be whatever, the joints will allow here. Put your feet onto the floor. Toes are pointing forward. Feet are not as wide as your body. They're only about 4 to 6 inches apart. And then karate chop the floor with your hands. Thumbs are up towards the sky. Let's take an inhale. Push your feet into the floor. Let your low back touch the floor. Lift your right arm up, lift your tushy up, and roll your head to the left. Exhale to lower. Inhale, left hand rises, tushy lifts off the floor, head rolls to the right. Go slow, close your eyes if you can. I'd like you to feel your back peeling off of the floor, only up to about your heart. So you're not lifting too high off the floor. You're getting a nice back bend in that low back. Rotate your head, lift your hand. Go slow here. Feel what you're feeling. The last one is when your head goes to the left and your right hand comes up. And then bring yourself all the way down. Let's take the block, bring the block between your knees. Walk your feet a little closer, as close as you could get them. For some of you, you'll be able to touch the heels. And I'd like to say that if any of you have disc herniations in the lower lumbar area, this is what Dr. Fishman uses to correct many of his patients' lower lumbar disc herniations. So we can actually get a really nice realignment of the lumbar spine and all the discs between it. So with the block between the thighs, you're going to squeeze the block strongly. That's going to turn on those inner thigh muscles. We did a lot of stretching and moving of those today. So we got that area nice and open. So you're gonna squeeze the block, squeeze it pretty hard right now. You'll feel the inner thighs turning on. So that's one aspect. The other is a posterior tilt. So you're gonna flatten your low back by tilting your pelvis back. Feel the top edge of your pelvis pressing into the floor. That will be that posterior tilt. When we peel our spine up away from the floor, you make sure that the weight goes to the upper part of your back, not into your head and neck. So let's reach up again, lengthen the back of the neck, place the center of the head closer to the neck on the floor. Chin is towards the chest. Walking your feet as close as you get them to your body. Squeeze your block. Press your low back towards the floor. Press your low back and the top edge of your pelvis towards the floor. And then begin to peel, squeezing that block, squeeze the tushy. Glutes activate, adductors activate, which is your inner thigh, and peel your back off. Come up as high as you can, slide the shoulder blades closer to the spine. For some of you, you may need to bend the elbows, palms are up towards the sky. And for others, you could actually clasp your hands and be so high that you're not lying on your upper arm bones. So you don't want your rib cage to be resting on your upper arms. And for many, they're not able to get high enough to clear that. So clasp, if you could clasp, squeeze your tushy, squeeze your block. Chin is towards your heart. Push your heart towards your nose. Two more breaths. You're going to come down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Take the block out. Get your strap. So if you have a yoga strap that has a loop, go ahead and loop it. And if you don't have one that loops, you could tie your strap with, like in a knot. So whatever it is you have, this is a way. And then for some, if you have an exercise band, the really bouncy ones, you could use that, the ones that you get from physical therapy. So you're going to take your feet, put your feet through the strap. We're going to do another bridge pose. And this time we're going to be pushing out, which is going to activate that lateral chain. You'll find that on this one, you get a little higher. So this will be a good indication. We came from the block and then we're going to come to this here. So lengthen your head, get that center of the head closer to the back of the neck, really working on the back of your body here, helping with posture, helping alignment in the spine, and lots of good stuff, right? Very important to do that. Walk your feet as close as you get to your body. And then I'd like you to start rock to one side so you roll the outside edge of your arm under and your shoulder blade closer to the center of your body near your spine. So you're going to roll your upper arm bones. It's an external rotation of those up the shoulder, and it brings the shoulder blades closer to the spine. So you start off in a more narrow position, lengthening the head. Let's start to push out on the strap and flatten the low back into the floor. And then let's peel the spine off the floor. Pressing out, you're pressing and lifting your body up. When you come up, you want your weight to be waterfalling towards the upper back. And then for those of you that can clasp, go ahead and clasp your hands. For those of you that need to bend your elbows, bend your elbows. Knees are moving away from you. Heart is pushing towards your nose. Take 5 deep breaths here. When you finish your last breath, you'll place your spine on the floor, one vertebra at a time. Come up onto your tippy toes. So you try to lengthen your low back here, letting low back touch before the pelvis does. Bring your knees into your chest. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. I like to do a little glute work here. You're gonna take your feet, do the little marching action so your feet go where they are. They're not too close to the body. I'd like you to tuck your pelvis. So that's not really the proper term, but that's what people realize. It's a tilt, actually, posterior tilt, so that the low back touches the floor, the top of the pelvis touches the floor. And then walk your feet away a little. Come onto your heels, so your toes are up towards the sky. Flatten the low back first, and then you're going to inhale to lift your pelvis off the floor. So you only come to about the lower ribs here if you're posteriorly tilted and your feet are pretty far away. And then you exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep going. Come all the way up in little pulses. And then stay there, and then go ahead and bring yourself down. Let's walk your feet back. So do a little march. So they go to their neutral position. Feet are on the floor. We're going to do a little pelvic stabilization here. So posteriorly tilt the pelvis. Let your tushy come away from the floor. So it's not very high. There is clearance of your hand, but it's not that you're lifting too high. Then push your left foot into the floor and let your right foot hover off the floor, keeping your pelvis nice and stable. Little pelvic stabilization. Doing what's appropriate for you. Remember, if you need to come down, you come down. And then go ahead. Place the right foot onto the floor. Activate the right foot. And lift the left off. Last breath. And then go ahead and lower all the way down. All right. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Bring the feet up. The soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Widen your legs. Bring your knees closer to your armpits. Feel that low back pressing into the floor. If you'd like to reach up and take hold of your toes, if that's accessible to you, do that. Let's let the legs go up into the sky. Point the feet strongly and then flex. Point and flex. Feel that back here when you flex. When you point, feel that on the tops of the feet. And then circles. Very important to keep our body mobile everywhere. All the joints, all the tissues, keeping that line of communication. Let's go on the other side. And then draw the knees towards the chest. Let's go into some core work. So this part of our body, well, it's actually debatable on where the core is. Some people think of the core as just here, and some people say that everything is connected. and it may be the whole spine. So anyway, we're going to focus a lot on this part of our body. So from that lower rib area all the way around to where the legs attach to the body. So let's go ahead and take a hold of your block. I would say that for many, having a higher blanket is a little bit more comfortable to do core work. So for some of you, you may need to double your blanket. It may be a little bit more comfortable and enjoyable and doable if you do that. So we're going to take our block, and you're going to take your block like this. So if we hold our block like this, like the average yoga block, I don't even know what this is. This is 4 inches. So this is probably, I don't know, maybe 8 inches or something like that. This is shoulder girdle. So if you have your hands that distance, it's the arms coming straight off of the socket. So it's a nice way to get some of the stabilization of the upper body. So we're going to take the block. Now spread your legs so that the block could actually come between your legs. And if you don't have a block, just hold about that distance with your hands. So you're going to inhale, your arms are overhead. Actually, let's come back for a second. Let's prepare. I want you to really be able to prepare and activate these core muscles. So it's like a corset from around the back all the way to the front. There's muscles that come in like a corset. The top layer of muscles that brings the lower ribs closer to the floor, that contracts. It's from the pubis bone up to lower ribs. That's your six-pack abs, your rectus abdominis. That's on the top. And then deep inside of you is transverse abdominis, this deep layer of muscles. So we want this entire corset. Think of the girls in the 20s or 30s or 50s or whatever, when they would put on the tight corset and tie up the center. That is the action. It's this wrapping action of the corset. So a really great way to think of it is zippering up the midsection. So right now, try to imagine that you're taking hold of a zipper really low in your body, and you have to draw your skin towards the center to zipper up an inch, to zipper up an inch, to zipper up an inch. And feel that activation, like a fist is being made. So you feel an activation. The base of your core is your pelvic floor. So let's bring our awareness to the pelvic floor. Imagine that you're drawing a silk scarf off of the floor, or you're drawing an egg into your body from the bottom of your body all the way up towards your belly button. So you feel this towards center and then lift. Feel that action towards center and then lift. And then there's that zipper action, which goes a little higher. It may add a posterior tilt for some of you. So feeling something in this part of your body that is going in and up and then back. All right. Take your hands above you. Really stretch here. Hold the hand here. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, begin to contract your core, your pelvic floor and your core. Lift your upper body off the floor. Bring your arms between your knees, and then inhale to lower. Exhale, zipper up your body. Bring your arms, bring your block to the outside of your knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale, come out to the left, outside of the left leg. Inhale to lower. To center. Outside of the right. Center. To the left, last one. And then bring yourself all the way down. So that actually also gets the upper back and neck area. So you may have felt tension in the upper back and neck, bringing a little strengthening there. Let's take the block between the knees. Walk the feet so that they're block distance. And then you're going to take your right hand behind your head. Take your left hand on top of your left thigh and unbend the right knee. Put the right leg up towards the sky. You're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, activate your core, lift your body straight up, and then direct the right elbow over towards the left knee. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, last one. Exhale to lift. Little pulses, stay here. And then go ahead and lower down. Let's do the other side. Left leg is in the air, left hand is behind the head, right hand is on top of the right thigh. Squeeze the block, left leg is active. Inhale. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale, rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale. Inhale. And then this next one we're going to hold. Pulses. And then go ahead and lower down. Take the block out to the side, bring the knees into the chest. Let your knees be bent, feet are flat on the floor. Take your arms alongside your body. I'd like you to have the elbows bent a little or a lot, depending on what you can do. And then the backs of the hands need to stay on the floor. So for some of you, you're going to need to be farther away. Keep the knees bent and then lengthen the left leg. Left leg goes long. Let your body relax. So we're going to do some hip flexor muscle work. This is actually the back of the core, and it attaches to the lumbar spine and the front of the thigh. It's what helps to bend the hip joint. And we're going to work on strengthening that. So you're going to protect your low back here. So you're going to have an activation of the core muscles, slight, not like a super strong hold. So let's inhale, lift our leg off the floor a few inches. Inhale another few inches. Inhale another few inches. Inhale all the way to a 90 degree if you can. And then lower. 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 And then lower. Let the leg soften. Bending that knee. Let's take the other leg straight. Let everything soften first when you go straight. And let's inhale to lift. Inhale. Again. And then all the way up. We're going to lower now. Let's lower. 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 And then go ahead all the way down. Let that soften, let it relax. And then bring your knees into your chest. So we bring our knees into our chest to relax the low back, because a lot of what we've done today actually works or is using muscles that are attached to the low back, the psoas in particular. And then let's come all the way onto your side and push your hand into the floor and bring yourself up. Go as slow as you need to transition. Bringing the blanket underneath your knees. We're gonna move our spine, relax the spine. Should be a lot of nice fluids in your spine at this point. Take your hands forward, pointer fingers are forward, knees are a little wider than hips. And then let's do a little back and forward movement here. Nose is pointing down towards the ground. And then you're gonna come back up and you're gonna go side to side. And then you're gonna go side, back, over to the other side, forward, side, back. Turn this into a circle. Turn this into a circular pattern. Press your fingertips into the floor when you come forward, loading up the wrist joints and whatever feels appropriate for you. Let's switch. Go in the opposite direction. Notice your body's mobility in one side versus the other. Close your eyes, see where you can explore going. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's take the knees directly underneath the pelvis, the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's do a little cat and cow spinal extension and flexion. Inhaling into your extension, feel the belly stretched, point of the head is up towards the sky, tailbone is up towards the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, push the belly up towards the spine, point the tailbone down towards the ground. If you do not have osteoporosis, you could come into this full version of flexion. If you have osteoporosis, keep your head up and don't round the upper spine, only let the lower spine round. Coming fully through your flexion and extension, nice and deep. Feel the stretch in your body, all the up and down the spine. One more in each direction. Trying to get your body to open, to stretch. We're going to come into an extended child's pose or a puppy dog. So if you do not have osteoporosis, you could come into a child's pose where the tushy touches the heels and the arms are overhead and the head goes on the floor. This is if you do not have osteoporosis. If you have osteoporosis, I'd like you to do a puppy dog version where you take your hands a little wider and you let your forehead rest on the floor and the tailbone stays up, or the pelvis stays up in the air. So choose what's appropriate for you. Take one more breath. So we're going to do what's called threading the needle for the upper body. This stretches the upper back. So you take one hand away from you and the other hand slides underneath the armpit. You could put your head on the floor. You could come onto your fingertips. So you're trying, your belly button is facing down towards the ground and you're trying to rotate your heart to face towards the hand that went through. It's called threading the needle. Take one more breath. Bring yourself up. Let's go to the other side. You take your hand long and the other hand slides underneath towards the other side. Head goes on the mat. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Let's bring our hands forward. We're going to end with a plank, a nice strengthening posture. So if you'd like to come down into a dolphin, if your wrists are tired, you could come into a dolphin. This is a dolphin posture, or you could have your knees on the floor, or you could be in the full version of plank or the modified plank. So this is the modified plank, and this will be the full plank. So let's come up into whatever variation you're going to do. Nice, strong, total body strengthener before we end the practice. So push your fingers into the floor, push your heels back, lengthen out your tailbone, lengthen out the crown of the head. Let's take 5 deep breaths here. Of course, coming down whenever you need. And then bring your knees down. Go ahead and sit on your flipped up toes if you can. Flipping up your toes, sitting on your toes. Take your wrists, roll your wrists around. So either sitting up here or on your feet or on your heels. Let's do a little neck release, side to side with the neck. Think about the ear moving up towards the sky. Take your hands, clasp your hands behind your head. Look up, open your throat, open your chest. Place your elbows, push your elbows back. Inhale. As you exhale, let your chin come down towards your chest. You're not rounding your upper back, you're only moving your neck. Chin to chest, elbows towards each other. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Stay here. And then go ahead, take your hands. Let's just release any tension that was created in the practice today. So gather from down low, from here to here. Gather, hold that really tight. And then whoosh. Let it go. Time for Shavasana, the final rest position, allowing the integration of whatever was stirred up or created or released in today's practice, allowing that to come into your body. So let's prepare for Shavasana. Coming onto the ground. Get yourself nice and comfortable and let go. Let go, let whatever takes over take over for you. Udare apare, Hariyam Kariyam, Nimameya Kame, Govinde, Mukande, Udare apare, Hariyam Kariyam, Nimameya Kame, Govinde 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 Mukande, Udare apare, Hariyam Kariyam, Nimameya Kame. Gently begin to deepen the breath and start to move your body in whatever way feels appropriate for you. Eventually bringing the knees into the chest one last time. Draw the knees in deeply, rocking side to side. And then all the way onto your right side, or left side, whatever side, depending on which direction you're in. Pushing yourself up to a seated position. Keep your eyes closed if you can. We're going to close with sound. We're going to blend the ah, ooh, and sound of sound as it comes from the low to the middle to the upper lungs, making the sound om. Let's take your hands together, bring the thumbs to touch the sternum bone. Sit as tall as you can here. Let's prepare by exhaling, then inhale.
bow to each other in namaste. Namaste. That was a really nice practice to release a lot of tension in the body, to integrate wellness deep into every tissue of your body. And I hope you feel good. I know I do. Oh, let me get my glasses in case any of you have anything to tell me, since I can't see without my glasses. All right. Yeah, Nancy, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot of back release today. So that was definitely therapeutic for the back. I wonder if Michael's here. Good, Michael. Hopefully that was good for, I know you're pretty good about your back, Michael, or you're good at self-care is what I'd say. All right. So that was great. I hope you all enjoyed that. Let me see. Yes, good, Carolyn. Glad. Yeah, I love that too. You know, I feel like I have a very strong limber body, and everything that I share with you, I feel it in my body with my strength and with my flexibility. And I know that not everybody has that level of flexibility and strength. So whatever it is I'm sharing with you can be done very deeply on many layers. So if Angie and Dan are here, hello. Lee, if you're here, hello. Steve, if you're here, hello. Joy, probably not, but just I want to say hi to people that I know that also are there. Great. All right, so I am off to teach my chair class. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next class or whatever. All right, bye everyone.